Mark, 30, lived life by reason, science, tangible proof, faith. That was for the dreamers, the weak. He scoffed at stories of afterlife. Death was the end, a full stop at the conclusion of a sentence. Successful in his career, he had it all. Penthouse apartment, sports car, string of fleeting romances. Yet, a nagging emptiness lingered, a void no amount of worldly possessions could fill. He brushed it off, pouring himself into work, seeking solace in fleeting pleasures. One rainy Tuesday evening, driving home after closing a major deal, euphoria coursed through him. He'd proven his worth yet again. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. Metal shrieked against metal, the cacophony deafening. His world spun, a dizzying carousel of shattered glass and contorted steel. Pain, sharp and all-consuming, ripped through his body. Then, darkness. He drifted in a black void, time meaningless. Had minutes passed? Hours? Days? He couldn't tell. The pain, however, remained, a throbbing ache that permeated his being. Where was he? Was this death? It wasn't the nothingness he'd always envisioned. Then, as if a trapdoor beneath him had sprung open, he was falling. Falling through an endless abyss, the darkness pressing in on him, suffocating him. Fear, primal and raw, gripped him with an intensity he'd never known. He wanted to scream, but no sound escaped his lips. He landed with a sickening thud on cold, hard ground. As his eyes adjusted to the dim, sulphurous light, he realized with a jolt that he was no longer in the wrecked car. He was in a cavernous space, the air thick with smoke and a stench that turned his stomach. Towering flames licked the sky, casting an eerie, flickering glow on the landscape before him. It was a desolate wasteland, devoid of life, save for the writhing, tormented souls that stumbled through the shadows. Their moans and screams echoed through the cavern, a chorus of despair that sent chills down his spine. He had never heard such anguish, such utter hopelessness. It was a symphony of suffering, conducted by an unseen maestro of misery. Section 4. Torment Without End. As he ventured deeper into this infernal abyss, the full horror of his surroundings unfolded before him. He saw people trapped in cages of fire, their screams a testament to their eternal torment. Others were impaled on spikes, their bodies contorted in agony. Demons, grotesque and cruel, stalked the landscape, their eyes gleaming with sadistic glee. They delighted in inflicting pain, their laughter echoing through the desolation. He saw one demon, its skin a sickly green, tearing at the flesh of a woman, her cries lost in the cacophony of suffering. He tried to avert his eyes, to block out the sights and sounds that assaulted his senses. But there was no escaping the horrors of this place. He was trapped in a nightmare, forced to witness an eternity of suffering. And then he saw them, familiar faces, contorted in pain, their eyes pleading for mercy. Former colleagues, old friends, even a few faces he recognized from his childhood, all trapped here, condemned to this infernal existence. Despair threatened to engulf him. Was this his fate, to spend eternity in this abyss, tormented by the fires of hell? Just when the darkness felt all-consuming, a faint glimmer appeared in the distance, a light pure and brilliant pierced through the oppressive gloom. It was a beacon of hope in the midst of despair, a promise of something more than the torment that surrounded him. The light drew him in, a lifeline in a sea of despair. As he stumbled towards it, the landscape around him began to shift. The flames seemed to recede, their heat replaced by a gentle warmth. The screams and moans faded into the distance, replaced by a profound silence. He felt a sense of peace he hadn't known. He was capable of a calmness that settled over him like a warm blanket. He didn't understand it, but he didn't care. The light was his only focus, his only salvation. As he drew closer, the light resolved itself into the form of a figure. It was a being of pure radiance, its features indistinct yet undeniably kind. The being emanated an aura of love and compassion, so powerful that Mark felt all his fear and despair melt away. "Welcome," Mark, the being spoke, its voice a melody that resonated deep within his soul. "Do not be afraid, you are not condemned." Mark could only stare in awe. He wanted to speak, to ask 1,000 questions, but the words wouldn't come. He could only listen, his heart pounding in his chest. "You have been given a rare glimpse," the being continued, its voice soft, yet filled with an authority that transcended any earthly power. "A glimpse of what awaits those who turn away from the light, But your journey is not over, Mark," the being said, its voice filled with gentle understanding. "You have been given a second chance, a chance to choose a different path." Mark felt a surge of hope. He didn't understand how or why, but he knew with every fiber of his being that this was his chance at redemption. "Embrace the light, Mark," the being urged, its radiance intensifying. "Open your heart to love, to compassion, to faith. Let go of your fear and embrace the truth." And then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the light began to fade. Mark felt himself being pulled back, away from the being, away from the warmth and peace. He wanted to cry out, to beg for more time, but he was powerless to resist. He opened his eyes to the blinding glare of hospital lights, the steady beep of machines, a jarring counterpoint to the symphony of hell he'd just witnessed. He was alive, but he was no longer the same man. The experience had changed him, burned into his very soul. He now understood the true meaning of faith, of love, of compassion. He had looked into the abyss and emerged, not unscathed, but reborn. He was no longer an atheist. He was a follower of Christ, a man on a mission to share the light that had saved him from the darkness. His journey had just begun.